Welcome to The Author Show, where we present new authors and books. From fiction to self-help and everything in between, you'll find it all here. To watch the TV version of our program, visit authorswebtv.com. That's authorswebtv.com. And now, let the show begin.
Hi, I'm Linda Thompson, your host for The Author Show. I'm a really big fan of suspense thrillers, especially when they involve a plot twisting with terror, intrigue, and suspense spanning continents. In guest author Davies' new book, The Potential, protagonist Chris Morehouse experiences all of this and more. I'm excited to learn more about this fast-paced thriller. David, welcome to The Author Show.
Thank you, Linda. Thanks for having me on the show.
David, please give our listeners a short overview of The Potential.
The Potential is a fictional novel. It's about a driver who is not yet a superhero, but one day I hope that he can become one. At the moment, he's not the type of guy who can run and jump off of tall buildings and save people from burning buildings, etc. But one day he's going to get there, and that's why I titled the book The Potential, because the guy does have a lot of potential to move up in the ranks, so to speak, as he's starting off today as a driver who works for the U.S. Embassy in Germany, and he gets involved in a terrorist attack at the beginning of the book where he saves the life of the ambassador to Germany when a terrorist tried to kidnap him.
Did you write your book with a particular type of reader in mind?
The book wasn't designed for any particular audience. However, I would say that it's not for an under-18 crowd, and the book, even if you see the cover, it does have a gun on the front, which actually shows you that the book is not about butterflies or fairy dust. There's quite a bit of action going on in there with people getting killed. There's some torture scenes. I do have a rape scene involved in there as well. So anybody who's sort of in law enforcement, the military, even government service, because I do mention a lot of government agencies such as the CIA and the FBI and other intelligence agencies in Germany, etc. And it's not just a boy book either. It is meant to be a catch-all for everybody who likes suspense, thrill, actions, type of books. Something on the same lines as Vince Flynn. Not so much a Tom Clancy, but something a bit of action adventure.
What was the motivation behind your writing The Potential?
I wouldn't say there was one thing that motivated me to write the book. However, I've been involved in the security industry for close to 25 years. So I've been able to experience different things with investigations, executive protection, physical security, and many things in the security industry in general. But at a time back in the early 90s, I suppose, I used to work at the U.S. Embassy in Germany, and I did get to see on various occasions how the security of the embassy was practiced and how VIP delegations were handled. So I got to see these things and experience these things firsthand, so I decided to put some ideas together and create my scenarios myself to see if one day I could actually bring this to the table to make a book out of it, and then here we are today.
What kind of research was involved while you were writing your book?
Yeah, research is an interesting question, actually. Many writers approach research in different ways. I tried to bring some historical points to my book. I have one example of where I'm using some gun runners who are shipping ammunition and guns, etc., to the Middle East. And I actually found a ship to do that was actually used by Colonel Gaddafi in 1972 when he was trying to ship arms to the IRA. The ship was caught by the Irish Navy and let go a couple of days afterwards. So I always wondered what happened to that ship. So I used that as a fictional ship, and I put it back into use, and I shipped it off into the Mediterranean. I eventually sunk the ship in a harbor in Turkey in the book. So those little things, I try to bring some historical perspective to the book, and I have some other sort of pieces that I wanted to bring a little bit more plausibility to the plot and to show that there is some research gone into it. It's not just a quick A to Z of how to be a superhero in a book.
Is there another author you feel may have influenced your writing style?
Yeah, I've read quite a bit of Bernard Cornwell. He writes historical fiction, and he wrote a series called the Sharpe series. The Sharpe is a soldier in the army of the Duke of Wellington back in the Napoleonic Wars. And Cornwell has taken this character who started off as a private, as the lowest ranking soldier in the army, and throughout his series of books, he promotes him along the way and he eventually becomes a colonel at the Battle of Waterloo. So after reading that, and I read his books, that series, 2 or 3 times, I sort of got the feel of that's what I want to try and do with my characters, is to get them from the lowest level and bring them up. And that's kind of influenced my writing skill, is to sort of mirror that if at all possible.
Is The Potential a standalone book, or is it the first of a series?
It's not a standalone book. I'm hoping this will be at least a 3 or even 4 series. However, in saying that, I don't know where this character is going to go. In the first book, it starts in 1996, so I've got a lot of room to play with, meaning that there are many world events that I can slot my character Chris into. There's 9/11, I could potentially put him into there. There's the war in Afghanistan, there's Iraq. There's all these different things that happened around the world that I can easily put him into an espionage type of environment for these world events. So yes, I am looking at a series of books for this particular character.
Are your characters purely fictional, or do you draw from people you know?
The characters are fictional. You know, I've tried to find people who actually got involved with this kind of thing, but because you need permission to actually use a person in real-time environments, so I made it as fictional as possible. Obviously, I brought some historical pieces into it. You know, I don't want to make this into people who've been in the news or people who have done X, Y, Z in Afghanistan or et cetera, et cetera. Yes, it's all fictional.
How much of Chris Morehouse is based upon your own experiences?
That's a good question, and it's not the first time someone's asked me that. No, there's nothing about Chris that is me or vice versa. Yes, I did work at the U.S. Embassy in Germany many, many years ago, but to be a driver who carries a gun and goes into terrorist attacks, shooting at people, no, that's not the type of person I am. But, you know, like I said, I have had experience in executive protection, so I've been able to see some of these things. And although I never had to put my hands on somebody or do a takedown or anything like that, I had some of that training, and I was able to use that knowledge to take it forward and put into the book.
What is the take-home message for readers of The Potential?
The take-home message. I suppose that once we are given a book to read, or we choose to purchase a certain genre of books, that when we have a hero, those heroes are kind of predefined for us, meaning that if it's a book about Jason Bourne or Jack Bauer, they're automatically superheroes. They can do everything, they can't do anything wrong, and they're almost bulletproof. Whereas my character, Chris, he's starting from the lowest rung of the ladder, and he's going to have to build his way up. So it's just the same thing in life. You know, you have to start at the bottom, whatever job you take, and there potentially is no end to where you can go in life and what you can do, and it's your choice to make those life decisions to push yourself forward to where you can be. So I guess the take-home is everyone has potential to do something.
Where can we learn more about you, about your work, and most of all, where can we purchase The Potential?
You can go on my website, www.thepotentialanovel.com, and there you'll be able to find out more about me, some interesting facts about me as well. And you can also buy the book on Amazon. You can, as an ebook or a hard copy book. You can buy the book from Barnes & Noble. You can actually get it from Powell's of Portland. And some local stores here in my area, up in the Greater Seattle area, are all carrying the book as well.
David, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for sharing The Potential with us. There's a lot of potential in The Potential. Please consider this your invitation to come back when you release book number 2.
Thank you again, Linda, and thank you very much for supporting independent authors.
One of the reviews on David's website says, a complex, intriguing, and satisfying read with a dynamic, fast-moving, suspenseful plot. The action is relentless, gripping, and captivating. Isn't that what we all want in a really good book? Please visit theauthorshow.com to listen to other featured authors. To listen, click on the book title inside the player on top of the page. These interviews are available to book buyers worldwide on demand every day, 24/7. If you have written a book and would like to be a guest on the show, visit theauthorshow.com, complete the interview request form, and we will contact you shortly thereafter. The Author Show is a great way to market your book by getting in front of your target audience with a high-quality interview that will make a real impact. Join us again for another great book and another exciting author on The Author Show.
Thanks for listening to The Author Show. To contact us, call toll-free 1-877-955-8800. That's 877-55-8800. Or visit theauthorshow.com. Theauthorshow.com. Tune in next time to another great author on The Author Show.